Brace yourself as we dive into one of the most explosive stories in music history, the high-stakes battle between Taylor Swift and Scooter Braun. What started as a simple record deal turned into a war that exposed the music industry's darker side, forcing fans and artists alike to question who really owns the music we love. Our story begins in 2005. A 14-year-old Taylor Swift, guitar in hand, was chasing her dream in Nashville. After facing multiple rejections from established record labels, she performed at a small showcase in a cafe downtown, a performance that would change her life forever. In the audience that night was music executive Scott Borchetta, who had just left his old job to start his own record label. Impressed by Taylor's talent and determination, he signed her as one of Big Machine label group's very first artists. Taylor's father even bought a stake in the company to help fund the label's launch. Over the next decade, Taylor released 6 studio albums under Big Machine: Taylor Swift, Fearless, Speak Now, Red, 1989, and Reputation. These albums turned her into one of the biggest pop stars on the planet, collecting Grammys, breaking sales records, and transforming her into a global icon. But there was a hidden clause in that early deal. Big Machine owned the masters to all of Taylor's music. This meant that while she wrote the songs, performed them, and made them hits, the label controlled when and where they could be used. If a commercial wanted to license Love Story, or a movie wanted to feature Shake It Off, Big Machine, not Taylor, would make the call and collect most of the money. By 2018, Taylor's 13-year contract with Big Machine was about to expire. This was her chance to gain control of her life's work. Her team asked the label to sell her masters back so she could own them going forward.
Because she was credited as the songwriter for every single track, she had the legal right to re-record her entire catalog. This would give her fans a way to support her versions of the songs, and eventually devalue the originals that Scooter owned. In 2020, just as Taylor was preparing to re-record, Scooter sold her masters once again. This time to Shamrock Holdings, a private equity firm, for $405 million, making a massive profit. Taylor claimed that before the sale, Scooter's team tried to force her to sign an NDA promising never to speak negatively about him again, even before she could make an offer to buy the music herself. She refused. From that moment on, Taylor went all in. She announced her plan to re-record all 6 albums, branding them Taylor's version. When Fearless, Taylor's version, dropped in 2021, fans rallied behind her, streaming the re-recorded versions in record numbers. Red, Taylor's version, followed, complete with the now iconic 10-minute version of All Too Well, which broke Spotify records and even won a Grammy. Meanwhile, Scooter's public image began to take a hit. Business Insider ran an investigation that claimed Scooter had used media outlets he controlled to spread negative press about certain celebrities. The report also alleged that Scooter had been overly involved in Justin Bieber and Selena Gomez's personal relationship, something that upset Taylor since Selena is one of her closest friends. Despite the controversy, Scooter remained a powerful figure in music, continuing to manage major artists like Justin Bieber, Ariana Grande, J Balvin, and the Kid Laroi. But the public perception had shifted. Many viewed him as the villain in Taylor's story, and Taylor had turned that narrative into a rallying cry for artist rights. By 2023, Taylor's re-recordings had made her tens of millions of dollars, and her era's tour shattered records, grossing over $500 million worldwide. But Big Machine refused to sell them outright. Instead, they offered what Taylor described as an unfair deal. For every new album she recorded for Big Machine, she would earn back the rights to one of her old albums. For Taylor, who wanted a clean break and creative freedom, this was unacceptable. She walked away, signing with Republic Records and Universal Music Group. Under her new deal, she would fully own all of her future masters, a groundbreaking move that set a new standard for artist rights. But just when it looked like Taylor had escaped the system, the real drama began. In 2019, music manager Scooter Braun purchased Big Machine label group for $330 million. With that deal, Scooter gained ownership of Taylor's first 6 albums, everything she had created up until Reputation. This was a nightmare scenario for Taylor. She accused Scooter of bullying her for years, citing incidents involving Kanye West and Kim Kardashian, including the infamous Famous music video and leaked phone call that sparked one of pop culture's biggest feuds. To Taylor, the thought of her life's work in Scooter's hands was unbearable. Taylor took to Tumblr and posted a now-famous statement, calling the deal her worst-case scenario and accusing Scooter of using his clients, like Kanye and Justin Bieber, to publicly humiliate her. The post set the internet on fire, with fans, fellow musicians, and industry insiders taking sides. But the situation only got uglier. Taylor claimed that Scooter's team tried to stop her from performing her old songs at the 2019 American Music Awards, where she was receiving Artist of the Decade, and from using them in her Netflix documentary, Miss Americana. According to Taylor, Scooter would only allow it if she agreed never to re-record her music and to stop speaking negatively about him. Instead of backing down, Taylor came up with a plan. Fans packed stadiums to sing along to the very song Scooter once controlled. In the end, Taylor Swift didn't just win, she rewrote the rules. She turned one of the most painful chapters of her career into a masterclass in taking back power, inspiring a generation of artists to fight for ownership of their work. Scooter, meanwhile, has seen both massive business success and very public personal setbacks, including a divorce and the loss of some high-profile clients. But if there's one thing this feud proved, it's that Taylor Swift cannot be silenced. She turned betrayal into empowerment, heartbreak into art, and transformed herself into not just a pop star, but a music industry game changer.